I'm Noah.
And I'm Marci.
We grew up watching Disney Channel, and every few months, a new Disney Channel original movie, or DCOM, would be released.
Since we were kids, we loved to get snacks and spend those evenings enjoying new, relatable movies on our favorite channel.
Well, now we're not really kids anymore, but we thought we could revisit our younger selves by rewatching all 110 DCOMs, and we want you to join us for the nostalgia.
So, every Friday, we're sharing our thoughts and feelings on the DCOM of the week. So join us, the DCOM kids, in our discussion after rewatching Hounded.
That was beautiful.
Yes.
It only took us 7 tries.
It took us 7 tries. It's because I was trying to memorize as I was going.
That's okay. We'll be memorized soon enough, I am sure. Probably.
Probably.
Yeah, so we rewatched Hounded. I just finished rewatching it probably 10, 15 minutes ago. It's annoying because I'm like, I really should be watching these earlier, but I also kind of like it because everything is super
then it's all
fresh.
Yeah, it's fresh
So,
and you got it in.
Yeah, I made a small change to our normal script.
Okay.
And that is down where we talk about like the director and everything. Just, I will say that. I'll just say the whole blurb there.
Okay.
Just so I decided to make it flow as like a sentence rather than broken up. But so this film was released in 2001, and it was written by Don. Oh, I should have read ahead. Don Collame.
Sure.
Yeah, Don Collame and Chris Connery.
All right. We have Shia LaBeouf as Ronnie Von Dusen.
Taj Mowry played Jay Martin.
Ed Bagley Jr. played Ward Von Dusen.
Craig Kirkwood played Mike Martin.
Sarah Paxton played Tracy Richburg.
Rachel Carson played Elizabeth Van Dusen.
Eliza.
What did I say?
Elizabeth.
My bad. My brain decided to add letters that weren't there. I'm so sorry.
It's all good.
Eliza Van Dusen.
Stephen Bendick played Bill Lipka.
Oh, Irene Santiago played Adele.
Melinda Haynes played Mrs. Martin.
Tony Larimer played
Armand
Columbus.
Mikola,
yeah.
Mikola Nelligan played Mrs. Pintuff.
And Don Cosney played Sergeant Finn. He looks really old in this picture, which is why I think we're like not realizing, but I'm pretty sure he was the dude at the beginning.
No, because that was Colonel.
Oh, you're right. That was Colonel. I don't know who Sergeant Finn is. Oh, he's the police officer.
Oh,
he was one of the cops. I was thinking military because it's military school, but then it's not though. Right on. Yeah. Right. With direction from Neil Israel and music artfully curated by David Kitay, Robert Seaman captured the hilarious story full of hijinks assembled by Lee Haxel.
So much for
I
together.
just wrote that like 5 minutes ago. How is it already struggling to like does not compute.
Dyslexia.
It's okay. I'm just kind of slow. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, Disney Plus summary. Jay Martin is a 13-year-old who is competing for a scholarship with the headmaster's son, rival classmate Ronnie Von Dusen. Van Dusen? They kept switching, I think.
Yeah, they did.
But when the headmaster steals Jay's speech, Jay concocts a way to break into the Van Dusen's pool house to get it back. Everything is going as planned until Jay realizes that Camille, the Van Dusen's show dog, has followed him home. It's not long before Jay finds that taking care of this dog is no walk in the park.
Wow.
That's a typo.
Okay, you know what's hilarious?
Yeah.
I pull that straight off of Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Like, I copy and pasted it.
It's not long before Jake finds that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is his name Jake and they just call him Jay?
No.
Okay.
Because I got confused at the beginning because I thought his name was Martin. I didn't realize that was his last name.
I got you.
Because Ronnie always calls him Martian.
Yeah.
But then everybody else was like Jay, and I was like, Is Jay the nickname or is
this is random to me, but you know what I think is funny about the fact that Ronnie keeps calling him Martian?
What?
That I would not be mad about that nickname. That's a super sick nickname. I'm pretty sure you've had that nickname.
I have.
You might still have it from people. I just don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I think. No, never mind. I was thinking Nia called you Martian, but no, she calls you
Marci Mello.
Yeah.
But her brother Patrick calls me Martian.
Oh, okay. I was in the right group.
Right group.
Just
wrong cousin.
The memory was there, just incomplete. That's okay. We're gonna jump straight on into that scene by scene that you all have grown to know and love or despise. I'm not sure which, but anyway, we start. Oh, sorry. We start with a black and white cartoon of a boy walking towards a headmaster's office, and we watch as the headmaster's head turns into a wolf's head. We are pulled out of the cartoon and into the real world, where we meet our main man, Jay Martin, an amazing artist who has created this cartoon in a flipbook style on the back of his note cards. When Jay comes downstairs on his way to school, his mom tells him, she needs to go take care of his aunt Lois. My brain didn't want to read that at all. I don't know why.
I wasn't sure if I spelled it correctly or not.
That's fine. Because she broke her ankle again. It is the other ankle this time.
Yeah.
And help her out for about a week. But to keep him company while she is away, his brother, Mike, will be coming home from Starkwell Military Academy.
Next, we see Mike leading his squad in a march as he is yelling at them for how terrible they're doing. He is approached by another officer with a request from Colonel Douglas. While he is talking to Mike, he informs him his whole squadron is close to failing, and he doesn't know anything about what it means to be a leader. And while he's home with his brother, he should think about whether the military is right for him.
Next, we push through the Columbus Hall school gates. We see Principal... Oh, you missed one.
I missed one.
We see... Headmaster. I was going to say Grandmaster. We see Headmaster Ward Van Dusen. Thank you for the pronunciation there. Taking away a girl's video game. And Jay meeting up with his friends, Tracy and Bill. As they're talking, we hear bombs away and see Ronnie kicking a soccer ball into the air and bounces off of a statue and hits a teacher, who is angry until she sees it was Ronnie Van Dusen, the headmaster's son.
Then, as Jay is showing Tracy and Bill his flip book of his latest cartoon, Headmaster Ward Von Dusen makes an announcement before classes start, reminding all 8th graders to go to the auditorium at 5th period for the Donald Peterson Memorial Awards competition. This reward will help Jay get into the best art school next year. After the announcement, Ronnie kicks his soccer ball at Jay, causing him to drop his note cards on the ground. But as he's picking them up, Headmaster Ward sees them and confiscates them. The only problem is those cards had his presentation for the award on the back of them.
Oh, darn it. Next, we see Ward in his office playing the game he took away this morning. As Ronnie walks in, he is asked how his speech is coming along. You see, Ronnie was Jay's only competition for the award, and if Ward was to impress his father-in-law, Armand Columbus, Ronnie had to win that award. When Ronnie sees Jay's speech on his father's desk, he decides to steal it to ensure he would win because he would make his speech first.
When Jay tells Headmaster Ward about Ronnie stealing his speech, he calls him to his office to confront him and tells him he needs to get his act together because his mother has been complaining to his grandfather about him becoming out of control, and Armand already doesn't like Ward. As Jay is walking back to class, he is stopped by a hall monitor asking for his hall pass, but just as he starts to write a detention slip... Is that spelled correctly?
I don't know.
Anyway, Ronnie runs in with 2 saying 1 was Jay's and he must have dropped it. Then on the way from school, Ronnie rides up next to Jay and kicks him off his bike. And as he's riding away, Jay sees his note cards in Ronnie's backpack. Ronnie's a big bully.
Dude, he is. When Jay gets home, he hears the phone ring. Just as he reaches for the phone, he hears Mike leaving a message, letting him know his Jeep broke down and he won't be home until the next day. Next, we see Jay at the park with Tracy and her puppy Clancy. While he's telling her about what happened, she offers to let him pet Clancy, but he refuses, saying dogs hate me. But then, he thinks of a plan to get his note cards back from Ronnie. So, he goes to their house to steal them. While they are at the awards... Steal them while they're at the awards ceremony. Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. Thank you. Steal them while they're at the awards ceremony. But his plans are interrupted when the family dog, Camille, finds him in the pool house and won't stop barking.
This draws the attention of the Van Dusen's maid. I didn't say this. Van Dusen's maid, Adele, who starts calling for Camille and walking towards the pool house. Jay is worried about her seeing him, so he puts on a hockey mask and runs out, obviously causing the maid to scream and run away, thinking the house is being robbed. As Jay is riding away, Camille decides she is going to follow him, and no matter how many times he tries to get her to go back home, she just keeps following him. So he decides to bring her home. I said him, LOL.
Oops.
Decides to bring her home, and he will call the Van Dusens when they get home from the awards.
Once they are at Jay's house, Camille starts barking and won't leave Jay alone. So he decides she's probably hungry. So he does what anyone who has ever had a dog would do. Anyone who has never had a dog, thank you, would do, and starts feeding her all the food in the fridge, starting with pasta, then some meatloaf, and then what looks like all of the food in the fridge, until she is covered in food and laying on the floor. So he calls over Tracy to help him clean her up, to which she brings to his attention that he is in trouble. If the maid saw him at the house and their prized show dog is missing, if Jay calls the Van Dusens, they're going to think he stole their dog.
When Jay tries to take Camille back home, she just follows him again, making a hilariously impossible jump with a boing sound effect included.
That was hilarious.
Into the basket of Jay's bike house. Yeah. And follows him home once again. Now back at the Van Dusens after the award ceremony, Ronnie drops the award on the floor after Ward tells him to put it anywhere he would like. And Mrs. Van Dusen, Eliza, starts calling for Camille. But when she can't find her, she interrupts Ward while he's watching a golf recap.
Yes.
So he goes to the kitchen, and as he's in the kitchen, Adele, their maid, jumps out and starts hitting him with a spatula and tells him that she saw people in the pool house.
When Eliza comes back to Ward, now in his bedroom, he reassures her that Camille will show up. She always does. But Eliza is worried about Camille being ready for the regional dog show trials coming. Now she can get...
And how she...
Oh, and how she can get...
When she doesn't get her medication.
Oh, and how she can get when she doesn't get her medication. Sorry.
It's all good.
After a few echoes of Eliza saying medication, 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 we see Jay laying on the couch with Camille with Camille sitting in his face, looking almost rabid, and starts chasing him around the house until she traps him in the bathroom and scratches at the door all night long. Ah.
The next morning, Jay wakes up in the bathtub, and as he walks out, he sees the house is destroyed by Camille, having torn apart pillows, couch cushions, magazines, and his dad's baseball glove. When Jay finds Camille asleep in the entryway, he puts a basket over top of her and duct tapes it to the floor. He then meets up with Tracy to get some more advice, which of course she knows just what to say. She suggests calling the Van Dusens, but disguising his voice and saying he will leave Camille in a basket in the park for them to pick her up. But when Ward refuses, Jay has to come up with another plan.
After Ward hangs up, Jay hears a crash and sees that Camille has escaped from under the basket and has spilled a jar of marbles. and chases Jay back into the bathroom, where she continues to scratch at until she breaks a hole through the bottom and sticks her head through, a la "Here's Johnny" fashion. Jay jumps into the bathtub, and as Camille busts in and jumps at him, he grabs a shower curtain and wraps her up as tight as he can. Now, thinking he's won this war, he has Camille sitting next to him, wrapped in the shower curtain. But she manages to wriggle her way out and unrealistically launch herself over to the chair, and once again chases Jay into the bathroom. All of the scenes with the dog being like crazy were so freaking funny.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part with Camille is when she first goes rabid and she's chasing him around the house, and it's like very obviously like a puppet or something, but it's like a really lifelike puppet. So it's like that uncanny valley where it's like, it's like, it looks like a real dog, but it is doing things a real dog shouldn't be able to do. So yeah, I enjoy that quite a bit. Also the whole "Here's Johnny" thing. I was literally going to add a note in here for it, and I saw you already did. I was like, oh, well.
I got it.
Just
it's classic. You got it.
Same vein. You may continue.
Right. But forgetting she has already made a hole in the bathroom door, she busts in and attacks Jay, grabbing his pants as he's trying to escape through the window. But once he's through, who else is just arriving but his older brother, Mike? Knowing how the house looks, Jay tries to distract him and delay him from going inside. But as that fails and Mike makes his way inside, he quickly thinks that Jay threw a party and trashed the house. But then he is quickly introduced to Psycho Camille and is also attacked by her. So Jay, thinking quick on his feet, grabs a small vacuum and umbrella to scare Camille back as scares Camille back as the glass table Mike is trapped on breaks. But the batteries run out and they make a break. They make a break for the kitchen island. Camille picks up the vacuum and runs towards them, but ends up smacking into the cupboards and knocks herself out.
Apparently I don't have camera 1 anymore. Next we see Ward in his office and I scrolled way back up on accident. No, that's right. Okay. Yeah. Next we see Ward in his office playing on the video game he took again, and hear a knock at the door. Can you guess who it is? That's right. It's Armand, Ward's father-in-law, Eliza's father. Ronnie's grandfather. We gave the whole lineage there. Okay. He comes to talk to him about getting Camille back to make Elizabeth happy. Eliza happy. Or he's going to replace him with someone else as headmaster for the school. Now, back at the Martins' house, Mike is ordering Jay around and watching him clean up the house. Jay decides to call Ward and tell him that he's going to take Camille to the park and thinks he's going to ask for ransom. Ward offers him $2,000, but when Jay turns it down, he changes it to $5,000. Crazy.
So Jay asks Mike to drive him and Camille to the park, but on their way, Camille wakes up and jumps out of the car window and runs away. We then see Ward at the skating rink to make a deal with the dog napper, but he's not talking to the right person, obviously, and then slips and falls on the ice and lands on his back. Back at home, Jay confesses to Mike about everything. Ronnie stealing his speech, him breaking into the pool house, and Camille following him home. But Mike doesn't take it very well and starts yelling at him, saying he needs to toughen up and he's going to make it if he's going to make it at Starkwell. And Jay fights back, saying he doesn't want to go to Starkwell. He wants to study art, to which Mike yells at him for.
While they're fighting, Jay reminds Mike that their dad would have wanted Jay to do what he wanted, but Mike still doesn't want to be any part of the trouble Jay has found himself in, which is no surprise to Jay, as Mike has never helped him with anything. After telling Mike he hates him, he comes back with, "This is what I get for being a brother and a father to you." But Jay reminds him of one of the nights right after their dad died. He had a nightmare and crawled into Mike's bed crying, and he just pushed him away and told him to stop being a baby. But he was only 7 and was a baby. And that's when he decided to stop counting on him. And this leads to their heart-to-heart. And Mike decides he is going to help him out anyway.
Later, Mike calls Ward to confront him about the stolen speech, to which he denies and hangs up. This causes him to change everything and help Jay find Camille and get that money from the Van Dusens. The next day, we see Ronnie talking while trying to flirt with Tracy when Jay walks up and saves her from him. As they're walking to the building, Jay is called to Ward's office, but it's just because he is putting student council in charge of making posters and putting them around town, and whoever returns the dog will be arrested for dog napping.
Jay calls Mike to warn him about the plan of having the person arrested once they have Camille back. So they decide to give themselves more time. First, Mike calls Ward and tells him to meet him at a bakery and purchase a large sheet cake and have them write the Itsy Bitsy Spider on it, and then stand outside the bakery singing the Itsy Bitsy Spider to anyone who passes. And Jay has the student council...
supposed to hand.
Oh.
Sorry.
Hand making 300 posters to hang around. And he picks Bill and Andy to help him post them around town. But Bill and Andy aren't the most logical when it comes to placement for the posters to be seen. For example, they start with putting a poster inside a car wash.
You said that exactly as I wanted you to. That's perfect. While they have everyone distracted, Mike and Jay pack a bag full of all kinds of meat, like a chicken, ham, maybe steak, I don't know, just lots of meat, and attach it to Mike's Jeep in hopes to attract Camille. We quickly pop over to see how Ward is doing. He has given a few pieces of cake out, but then realizes he has been duped and hands the rest of his cake to an unhoused person who picks up where he left off with the song, trying to do a good deed. Then we pop back over to Bill and Andy and see them grab a poster to put on a light post, but they leave the box on top of a large dumpster with a rock on top so the papers don't fly away. But while they are hanging the poster, a dump truck comes by and takes it.
Now back to the Martins. They are trying to find and catch Camille. We see them driving around the streets with a bag dragging behind and about 10 dogs following. None of them are Camille. But just as they're about to turn back, they spot her and she runs and jumps on the bag. And they've got her until the road is out in front of them, and they slide and Camille goes flying through the air, landing on a well-placed trampoline with a few boings before rolling down a hill. That dog was dead. I'm sorry. That's graphic, but that dog was not living after flying through the air. Yes, the trampoline would have helped a little bit, but how hard she hit the ground after that, I'm like, ain't no way. Yeah. That poor pupper's gone.
Yeah. Now we see Ward in his office on the phone with Armand, promising to have Camille back by Friday. After hanging up on Armand, the phone rings again, but this time it's Mike, telling him he knows he called the cops. So he gives him another silly task. Go to the bowling alley and bowl 10 frames of gutter balls. Not one pin can be hit. Then wait for a bright orange ball with a note attached telling him where to get Camille. But he needs to go in Eliza's frilly robe and fuzzy slippers.
So Ward does just that, bowls the 10 gutter ball frames in his wife's robe and slippers, and waits for the bright orange ball to have his note. Only the note doesn't show up. So he stupidly sticks his head into the gutter ball return and gets a bowling ball to the face, knocking him unconscious.
That was perfect. Next, we see Camille jumping and barking at a little girl who is trapped on her playset and terrified of Camille. And Mike and Jay show up to save the day. Grabbing a pool cleaning net, they trap and catch Camille, but she runs into Jay's arms. Once they're back home, calm calmed down and acting normal, Jay and Mike are surprised and realize she just needs to run around and get her energy out. She spent most of her time at the groomers or training for the dog show. She doesn't get to be a normal dog.
Okay, sorry, the switch didn't happen. The next day, we see Jay walking into Ward's office and seeing the police all over, tapped into the phones in his office and the phones at his house. So when the dog nappers call again, they can find them and arrest them. Jay runs out to the payphone to call Mike and warn him before he calls the headmaster. But he's caught waiting for a girl to finish her conversation. That's not really a conversation. While he is waiting, Mike calls and is making new plans with Ward, and finally gets interrupted by Jay calling to warn him about the police, and makes Mike hang up 1 second before they can trace the call, which is like incredibly impressive timing, but it's fine.
Yeah. Once Jay gets home, Mike is hiding in the bushes. I guess just in case the police show up, he can get a quick getaway. Anyway, we have a moment of we're all in this together, and Jay comes up with a plan to get Camille back and get them out of trouble. The next day, they execute the plan. Jay sneaks through the neighbors' backyards to the Van Dusen's pool house, while Mike distracts Ronnie. Jay makes it to the pool house, and Mike is doing a terrible job of asking Ronnie BMX questions, but just enough to keep him distracted while Jay sneaks into the pool house and calls the Van Dusen's house. But he doesn't hang up, and they trace the call to their address.
They run to the pool house and find Ronnie and Camille, and the family is reunited, and Ronnie finally gets his comeuppance. Finally, we get to see Jay give a new speech for the Donald Peterson Memorial Award and receives a full scholarship to the Donald Peterson Academy.
Our final scene is Mr. Columbus, now the headmaster, and Jay talking about graduation and how the ceremony will go with Jay as the valedictorian. And we see Ward as Armin's personal assistant, coming in to fetch more refreshments for the two of them. As they're talking, Eliza and Camille come into the office with the best news. Camille is going to have puppies, and they're going to give one to Jay. But because of Ward's allergies, he will be staying in the pool house now that Ronnie is away to school, Starkwell Military Academy to be exact, with none other than Mike as his squadron leader. And in conclusion, I was way off, and this had nothing to do with a scientist turning a dog into a human.
How good. The funny thing is that, like, when we were talking about doing this movie last week's episode, we were both like, I can't really remember what this is about. You threw out that idea, like that sounds kind of familiar, right? And obviously that's not it. But as I'm sitting in my office watching this, I'm like not really remembering the movie. Mm-hmm. Right up until the part where they hatch the plan to put Camille in Ronnie's pool house in the picnic basket. And then all of a sudden, the whole rest of the movie I remembered almost verbatim. I remember the whole part about Mike interviewing about BMX and being terrible at it. And when Ronnie goes back into the house, he doesn't see that Camille is sitting in the middle of the floor eating the gummy worms.
That's unrealistic.
Yeah. And like all that stuff, and then he just like sees the voice changer in there, and he just kind of shrugs.
He's like, "Huh? How'd this get here?"
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I remembered all of that, and I was like, "Why do I don't remember the whole beginning of this movie, but everything from this point on." Yeah. I knew exactly what was going on.
I remembered the end.
Yeah. Super weird.
Yeah.
But it was still funny. I liked it. Yeah. What was your favorite scene?
That's a good question.
I ask the tough questions around here, you know. Do you have a least favorite scene first? Do you have a thing that you saw and you're like, what is that? What is going on?
No.
Okay, that's fair.
I like this whole movie, but it did make me sad that like this is why people are afraid of small dogs.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I have a little of one of each. I think.
Okay.
My least favorite scene. I guess I don't know. It's not like it's a bad scene, But it's just any scene really where Ronnie's just being a jerk.
Yeah.
Especially the part where he comes up and just kicks
him off the bike. Yeah.
Like for no reason.
You're like
granted, yes, he's very clearly a bully. Bullies don't need reasons to do things. But like that is just so random.
Yeah.
It seems like the only reason that happened in the movie
was so
that he could fall and see that he has the note cards in his backpack.
The note cards in his backpack. Even though he just heard him talking to his dad in the office and said, "They're in my locker. I copied them so that nobody knew I stole them."
So he clearly got them out of his locker.
And
then I'm like, why if he pulled them out of his locker and put them back in his backpack, why did he put them in the front pocket of his backpack that has a clear window on it?
Yeah. Because he's not the brightest crayon in the box. That's why.
So that was weird to me.
Yeah. Is that the expression? Brightest crayon in the box?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it works.
Doesn't matter.
It's fine. Yeah, no, it's good. And then my favorite scene, there's a lot of really good scenes in this movie, but I would think I think the one that I watched where I was like, oh, what a cute scene, is when they rescue the little girl from the playhouse and Camille just jumps up on him. Yeah. And like she's not crazy, she just loves him. And it's like going from a kid who thinks dogs hate him to this dog very clearly loving him. Like so sweet. Such a sweet moment.
Yeah. I did love at the end when Eliza comes in to announce that Camille's gonna have puppies.
Yeah.
Like she sets her on the ground and Camille just runs up to his lap.
Yeah.
And she's like, she's never taken to anybody like this quickly, and he's like, what can I say?
Yeah, exactly. I like that.
Yeah.
There was one part in it that I was confused about a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it was the part where oh man, what's her name? The girl, Tracy, and Jay, good Lord, are sitting like in that park.
Yeah.
Right after the whole speech thing. Mm-hmm. And she's like offering to let the dog, to like pet the dog and everything.
Yeah.
And then he says, I've got an idea to get them back. Mm-hmm. And then he like leans in for a kiss. It was unclear to me if he was aiming for her or the dog. I think he was going for the dog, but the way that it played out made it look like he was trying to smooch her.
Was he going in for a kiss? I thought he was like leaning in to whisper it into her ear.
No, I don't think so. He leaned forward, closed his eyes, and puckered his lips. He was leaning in for a smooch. I did not pay that close attention.
I was typing notes. I missed that part, apparently.
That's fair. He was definitely leaning in for a smooch.
Okay.
And then,
it was probably to kiss her.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Maybe he was going for a kiss on the cheek.
That's maybe what I'm thinking.
I have an idea.
But
You're
she like sticks the dog up, and then he freaks out. But like his face is aimed at the dog, nowhere near her. So it's like it was super awkward.
Yeah. I missed that.
We can rewatch it again if you want, because it was a moment that I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah. Interesting.
How did the movie hold up overall?
Overall, I think it held up pretty good.
I agree. Aside from the awkward like puppet dog moment.
Yeah. Where you're like, that's obvious. Like.
Yeah. No crazy CGI in this one, which I really appreciated. I like practical effects. Yeah. Which I mean, even Camille being rabid was a practical effect because it was a puppet. It was a little Uncanny Valley-ish, but it was still good. I enjoyed that part quite a bit.
Her jumping in the bathtub, like after he escapes through the window, and she's like, boing, boing.
Yeah. Which I guess could be argued that was CGI, I guess. I don't think it was. I think it was practical. I think it was
the puppet.
Yeah.
Just like when she bounces into his basket.
Yeah.
I think it was all the same.
I think it was practical effect.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I just love all movies with dogs. So.
Yeah, that's fair. What rating out of 5 stars should we give this one? I told you last week, whatever you pick this week, we're going with.
I want to give it a 4.
A 4. Okay. Yeah. It's a 4 then, because I made a promise last week and I'm not about to break it.
I'm not about to break it.
I just noticed that camera is like super crooked.
My camera?
No, camera 3.
Oh.
I haven't been using it very much, so it doesn't matter that much. It's okay. Cool, yeah. So 4 stars is fair, I think, for this one.
Okay.
Because it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But it ain't no Xenon.
It's not Xenon.
But also Xenon got 10 out of 5, so.
Yeah. It's no horse sense.
Yes. It's no horse sense. Or Alley Cat Strike.
Yes.
I still think it's so funny that I could not remember anything, and then just out of nowhere.
Yeah. You're like, oh, yeah.
I knew exactly what was going on.
I just want to know what movie I'm thinking of. Because I'm pretty sure it has the guy who played Cosmo in Stepsister from Planet Weird. as like the dog is a human?
I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea, because the only movie that I can think of where a dog turns into a human is You Shaggy Dog, but that's with Tim Allen, I think.
Yeah, I know it has that guy in it, though.
That's okay. I'll let you look it up. I'll plug some podcasts while you're doing that. So next week we have another DCOM, but first on Monday, Adriana and I will be sitting down to discuss what it looks like to book a vacation using a travel agent. We're going to be using our experience with our good friend Tracy from To Infinity and Beyond Travel. We've used her since 2022, I think, to plan vacations, and we have not done it ourselves since. So we want to share that with you guys and kind of give you an idea of what it looks like and why we prefer to use a travel agent rather than plan everything ourselves. So we'll be live with that on Monday at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, and then it'll be available on the major podcast platforms. The next day, if I do my job correctly, it'll be available at 6 a.m., but it could be later. And I will also preface by saying that Tracy is not paying us to plug her at all. We're just doing it because we genuinely love working with her and planning our vacations through her. And yeah, I don't even know if she knows that we're doing it, to be honest. I haven't told her that we're going to. I probably should this week. Just let her know. But yeah, we'll be reaching out to her actually to plan our next vacation soon. So we'll talk about some past experiences and yeah, kind of give you an example of how we start that out. Then Wednesday night, we're still out a little bit. We'll be live streaming a game night. I'm just not sure if we'll be playing a game, if like Adriana and I will be playing a game together, or if I will be continuing the MC Park series that I did on Wednesday. If you didn't catch the stream, make sure you go check it out, because I was kind of demonstrating or showcasing a Minecraft server that is Walt Disney World at home, and it's super fun. Yeah. And then, yeah, what's next week's DCOM? Do we have that written down yet? I was going to look for it, but I couldn't type and speak at the same time, so I just kind of went with it. And I still don't have Disney Plus.
I know Jumping Ship is coming up.
I think it is next, actually. I think it is next. If I remember correctly from last week's episode, we talked about it being the next one. I don't have Disney Plus on either of these devices. Oh, well.
Disney...
Also, guys, if you enjoy these episodes of DCOM Kids, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Noah Parker _channel on YouTube. Or if you are watching and you want an audio-only version, we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, and iHeart Podcasts. You just search for DCOM Kids on there. iHeart Podcasts is the most difficult one because, in my experience, like we don't come up very high when you search verbatim our show name, which is kind of weird. Mm-hmm. But yeah, all the other platforms you search DCOM Kids will be first. Give us a follow, set that to auto download, leave us a rating and a like wherever you happen to be enjoying from. And Marci has some information for us.
Yes, our next movie is Jumping Ship, and then the Poof Point is after Jumping Ship.
Sweet, I'm excited for both of those.
I'm so excited.
And
then we have a couple holiday movies that we skip through.
Yeah, that's fine. Holiday movies, they're good, but we'll get there. We'll come around to them.
Well, one of them's Halloween Town 2.
Oh, so we've actually already done Halloween Town 2.
Yeah. And then the next one is 'Twas the Night.
Which is a Christmas movie. So we'll be putting that off until... Actually, I think in December we have to do...
Ultimate Christmas
Present.
Ultimate
Christmas Present and then that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent. Do you have anything you'd like to add? Any final thoughts or words you'd like to share with our lovely viewers?
Thank you for listening to us read poorly.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
And sticking around for as long as you have if you're still here.
Yeah. Right on. Well, my DCOM friends, keep it real, keep it classy. We'll see you on Monday or next Friday for Jumping Ship. But until then, everyone, let the wonder take hold. That was the wrong button to push.